BYU basketball gets a huge win in overtime. Cougars take down the Baylor Bears 93-89. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte. Matt, this was an impressive game, high-level talent, tons of NBA scouts, and BYU comes out on top.
A lot of pressure moments in this game. BYU has struggled in these moments previously. At Utah, couldn't come through in the stretch, and that happened earlier in some non-conference games as well. They break through tonight. Huge clutch plays made at the end of regulation, in overtime. And we could spend this whole video talking about overtime, but clutch free throws, Dawson Baker putting the game away, and time after time, whether it was Richie or Trevin, guys making plays, keeping enough of a cushion, because Baylor, shout out to Baylor, man. The shot making in this game was elite. Like, it was, both teams, it was impressive. Baylor would not go away, but yet BYU just kept one play ahead, and it was enough to get the win.
32 individuals from NBA organizations were on hand to watch this game. 8 from the Utah Jazz, 4 from the Brooklyn Nets, 3 from the Chicago Bulls. Those were the franchises with the most representation at this game. So high-level athletes competing, and
they got a show, didn't
they? They did. That's a great thing. That was what was awesome, is that the freshmen played well, because you think about Yegor at Providence. He had the knee contusion early. BYU in these spots has not performed well. The freshmen were great. Cannon Catchings, perfect night, 8 of 8 from the field, 23 points. He said in the post-game presser he's never had a perfect game, and he did it with his legendary aunt, Tamika Catchings, in attendance. She needs to be at every home game now, because if Cannon's going to perform like that, that was an amazing night for Cannon.
That was a great performance, and after what he's been through in conference play, where he was not playing well, and then he got moved to the bench in a lesser role, and then for him to have the performance he did against Cincinnati, and then again tonight against Baylor, I think it speaks volumes, one, about his resiliency to fight through adversity. I think it also speaks well about this program and the culture that's being developed here, that Coach Young can make a move like that, not lose him, and still find a way to have him contribute in such a large way. And I think the most important thing about his performance, Mitch, is you need Yegor and Cannon. I know they're freshmen, but you need them to produce. Maybe not to the tune of a new career high, 23 points, but you need double-digit scoring from these guys. And when you get double-digit scoring from these talented freshmen, you're a tough team to beat.
Well, and it just highlights, too, that if you're going to be a team that maybe has a magical run for a weekend in March, those guys got to be awesome. Yep. Because their talent, the way that they can get shots off, the way they can get to the rim, it's just different. And Richie Saunders, talking about different, I mean, his ability to just like slice the Baylor defense and get to the rim and attack in the overtime. He had a nice floater on the baseline. Richie was great. He had 17 points, but the freshman really stood out tonight. Yegor had 15 points, 6 assists. VJ Edgecombe for Baylor, he is legit. Started out a little slow this season, but man, he is in full, like, he is playing at such a high level. He ends up with 28 points, 9 of 15 from the field. He was on point. And then also Robert Wright, he could be maybe a 2026 guy, kind of like Catchings, where under the radar guy as a freshman, he could be an NBA player. He was brilliant, 22 points, couldn't be stopped at the end of regulation.
2 BYU performances I think are worth discussing, Mitch. One, I thought Keba Keita had a nice game. Even though you look at the box score and it's 2 points, it's 4 rebounds, there was a big block in there and a monster dunk, you wouldn't think that his impact was great looking at the box score, but I thought his physicality was huge, and his ability to defend at the end of the second half and overtime without picking up that 5th foul, that was key, because there was no one else on this team that could match the physicality of Baylor's front court like Keita. For him to stay on the floor, I thought that was a really important thing. And then I also really was impressed with Richie. Even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he still made a huge impact. Clutch plays down the stretch, high energy plays. He had several steals that are just high level effort plays in this game. Right at this basket here, he chased a guy down and knocked it off his leg. So the shooting was not what we've come to expect from Richie, Mitch, but I thought his play was as impactful as it's been all year.
Yeah, 6 of 15 from the field for Richie. As a team, BYU goes 55% from the field, 38% from 3, 80% from the free throw line.
It's a winning formula.
Those are good numbers, and you can win any night against anyone in the Big 12 in this building. Now, the road's going to be a more difficult challenge, and you saw UCF tonight. They went a full 40 with Kansas in Allen Fieldhouse. It's not going to be easy in Orlando. That was one of the toughest road games last season, BYU's first Big 12 road win, but 3 straight wins for BYU in Big 12 play. They're 5-4 now, Matt, and it just feels like they might still not be on the inside the bracket, but they're in that next 4 out, first 4 out conversation now suddenly after this win.
Yeah, and they have plenty of opportunities ahead. On the road, and as you mentioned, at home. A week from tonight, you got Arizona in here. There's plenty of home games. They can win some quad one games at home. They'll be right in the mix.
We probably buried the lead too. Conor McGregor, courtside.
Right.
Conor McGregor. Kevin Young was asked in the post game if he's an MMA guy, and he said, what did he say? That his first coaching job was in Ireland?
Yes, he's like a lot of Ireland representation.
So Conor McGregor, I never thought in my life I would type out that Conor McGregor was at a BYU sporting event.
He was wearing a BYU hat, for heaven's sakes.
This is a weird world we're living in, Matt. BYU basketball.
#1 recruits, sold out arenas in the
NBA
Big
coach,
12.
30-plus scouts, NBA GMs.
And Conor McGregor.
What is going on, Matt? It's wild times.
Yeah.
Even though BYU's had some dips this year, it's been some tough moments. But again, they're building up, and Kevin Young and players continuously say they're stacking up good days and they're building momentum. Big game coming up on Saturday against UCF. Another quad one opportunity, and this win tonight was a quad one win for the Cougars. So for Matt Baiamonte, Mitch Harper, go check out all of our coverage on KSL Sports.